Good morning, boys and girls. Today for library, Mrs. Delia read to you a story of Harold and the Purple Crayon about being under the sea. So today we're going to do this awesome under the sea scene. It's my favorite one we've done so far because I love the ocean and I love all the different ocean animals we get to create. We're going to make a seahorse, some different fish, a jellyfish, some seaweed and coral, even some sea stars and shells and crabs. And along the way, you're going to get a chance to add your own details, to add your own patterns in your fish and textures in your fish and different shapes to make it your own and make it really creative. So we are going to get started. I'm just going to tape this up here so you can see it while I'm drawing, and then we'll do it together. So I'll put my fishies right over here. And we're going to start with this little seahorse guy. So he's really easy. It looks complicated, but it's really not, because if you look at the lines, he's really just one big curve. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start with his belly right here, and I'm going to make one big curve. And his tail, seahorses have these tails that curl like this. So I'm going to turn it into a curly line. That helps them hold on to the seaweed when the seaweed's kind of floating in the water. So I'm going to go back around, curl, here's his curly little tail, and then for his back, I'm going straight up, just like that. His head, I just need a little bump, and then out for his nose and mouth. You can give him a little smile, you can give him a little eye, and then he needs some fins to make him look like a fish, right? So I'm going to go up and do a wavy line like that, and a little fin here so he can swim. So here's where you get to add your own little textures and patterns. I'm going to go like this and do straight lines here to give it some texture. You might decide you want to do wavy lines to give it texture, or spotted lines, whatever you want. If you make little U shapes, it looks like scales. All around. And you could even go like this and do some stripes on his tummy to give him even more. The more texture and patterns you add to these, the more interesting your drawing is going to turn out. All the way, some little U's. You can turn them into wavy lines. And there's our cute little seahorse. Now let's make some fish. Fish are easy because there's all different shapes and sizes for them. So if you start out with any type of round shape, it's going to look like a fish once you add that fin in the tail. So I'm going to make 3 little fishies. One, sort of like an eye shape, and then add a tail. Out, out, wiggle, fin, fin. You could add some patterns to your fishies. On this one, I'll add polka dots. Little eye, bloop. So let's make it a whole school of fish. Curve, curve. You could even just go straight down a simple little triangle for a tail. He's got a big eye. Now let's go on to our jellyfish. And jellyfish are fun to draw because they're really just blobs, so there's not really a wrong way to do it. I'm going to start with one little curve shape, and I'm going to go up, and then a wavy line for the bottom to make him look jellyish. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Then you just need some wavy lines down for his tentacles. You could add texture and pattern to this by adding some dotted lines along the curves. Or even some swirls at the bottom. You could add another wavy line in his body. And if you want to, you can give it a little happy face, but you don't need to. There's my little jellyfish guy. I have some space here, so let's add a different type of fish. This time, let's make it a different shape. So these ones are kind of tiny. Let's do one big fish to kind of balance off that big seahorse we have. I'm going to go up like that, and then for the bottom, down like that. I'm going to give him a different shaped tail. Out. For his tail, and let's give him different fins than this fish has. Up, and then I'm going to do a wave. Up, wave. And you could add some pattern to this fish however you want. You guys know so much about pattern already from the school year, so you don't have to use my ideas. You can use your own. Fish usually have big eyes. I'm going to put a fin there, and then for my pattern here, maybe I'll put some spots and some stripes. Let's give this guy lips. There's all our fishies. So now all we have to do is make the ocean floor. So I'm going to start just by making some bumps for some rocks and sand at the bottom. There we go. Let's add some coral and some seaweed. And think about how the water, when it moves, it makes things kind of float. So we want our seaweed to be wavy lines. It looks like it's floating in the water. So like this. A wavy line. A wavy line up. I'm going to stop so it overlaps. Wavy line. And then you could make it look like a plant by just kind of going around it a little bit. There's one type of seaweed. We can make coral by just wiggly lines. And there's no way to do this wrong because coral grows in all different ways. So however you make these little wiggly lines, it's going to end up looking like seaweed and coral. So I'm just going to do wiggles. Kind of just letting my marker go where it wants to go. Up. Wiggle. Wiggle. And we have a little coral reef. If you add little dots in it, it really looks like coral. So now let's add some little life to the bottom of it. I'm going to make a nice cute little crab by making an oval shape, just like that, and then just some lines on the side for his little crab legs. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Just keep it simple. And then his claws go out, and you can give him a little face. Bloop. Eyebrows. Cute little crabby. Seashells, we can do snails. A snail is just a swirly line. A swirl like that. And then close it up. Here's his little head. And you have a cute little snail. To do a sea star, you just need to make a star. So I like to go like this and draw the points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you don't need to worry about making each side even because in real life, sea stars really aren't that perfect. They're kind of different shaped. But I know some of you might find it easier to do the kind of star where you go up, down, diagonal across, straight across, diagonal down. If you do that though, make sure you color in your sea star so we hide those lines that you made. Like that. I'm going to add some little details to this sea star. And then we could do a little scallop shell, and then we're all set. So to make this kind of shell, you need a V, a curve across, kind of like you're making your ice cream cone like last week. down, and then just do some stripes. And you have some pretty scallop shells. A V, curve, and some stripes. So there we have it. We have our under the sea picture. If you want, you could do little bubbles coming up. You could do some wavy lines like for water. I'll do some bubbles for these fishies. Whatever you want to add some details to your fish. So I hope you had a lot of fun. I hope you take a quick picture and send it to me or post it on Instagram because I would love to see all these little fishies that you drew. Have a good day. I'll see you next time.